Hunting Grounds is a brand new 2025 film directed by Derek Barnes and also co-written by Derek Barnes, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I believe this is a Canadian production, at least from IMDb. It says origin of Canada, so I'm assuming that it is. And I'm not sure if this one also got a theatrical release or not, but I know it is currently streaming now, and it has been for a few months. And this is basically a full-on thriller. What we have going on here is we have this woman who is on the run from her husband, who is basically tied up to the mafia, high up in the crime scene. And this woman has two children who she hides with either a friend of hers or a family member of hers, away from, where nobody could track them. And she's trying to get away herself and find some salvation kind of thing. She ends up at this gas station, and she's encountered by some goons because she's being chased by pretty much a bunch of criminals trying to find her and her children because her ex-husband, or still married, I don't know, the mafia guy, has a ton of connections. And she's able to get away. She runs into this forest, and she is brought to salvation by this guy named Jake, who is basically a hermit who lives in the forest, and he's really good with like rifles and stuff like that, and he's able to save her. But the film basically is about Jake becoming possibly a bigger threat than the ex-husband or anybody else could possibly be, and it turns into a who do you trust kind of story as the story goes along. So Jake starts off as her savior, but then slowly starts to change in his ways, and basically she's on the run from multiple threats as the film goes on, and more and more come along, and you don't know who to trust at one point. This film I very much enjoyed. This was a really great surprise thriller. This is a thriller well done. This is the kind of thriller that I would give a 4 out of 5 to. Not a perfect thriller or anything like that, but it is a lot of fun. I watched this film with J.K. Simmons from 2024, which I reviewed on the channel, called You Can Only Run So Far, or something like that, or You Can Only Run for So Long. It's something like that. If you look up J.K. Simmons, it's from 2024. I reviewed it on the channel. This film is way better than that film was. I didn't mind that film, but it was just a really meh kind of thriller. But if we're talking thrillers and we're talking, cat and mouse in the forest kind of stories, this film takes the cake for sure in comparison of those two. I think the first and second acts are pretty perfect. I think the gore in this film is really well done. There's some really, really brutal and vicious kills and attacks and fight scenes and choreography. And things get vicious and very. You get the sense of danger, and you get the sense of not having protection, like not being able to be saved at certain points with the woman, and where is she going to go from here kind of thing. The third act is where, just like a lot of thrillers, this is like a thriller trope where sometimes things just start to get cheesy. I've mentioned this in a recent review too, where things just get cheesy and far-fetched, and you start to kind of roll your eyes at things. Sometimes, the one-liners will come, and then you're just like, oh, geez, we've heard this before. Like the whole, in Jaws, they're like, smile, you son of a bitch, or whatever, or like, what's the really bad Leprechaun Origins one? Fuck you, Lucky Charms. Like, thrillers have a lot of that, where they do really cheesy badass things that they go for badass, but they just really come across as corny. The third act has a little bit of that, and the third act has some situations that get a little bit far-fetched, but the first and the second acts make up for it completely and doesn't diminish the film at all. Also, the ending, it gets very like heartfelt and uplifting, and very like warm-hearted, warm-spirited, and everything's all right and cheeky kind of thing, to a cheesy degree, like not to a point where it's enjoyable. Well, it's still enjoyable, but not to a point where it's kind of fun. It gets to a point where it's like, okay, we've been here. Let's just wrap it up now. We're good. Um, but I really liked the action. I really liked the cat and mouse stuff. The villain, both of them are really good. But Jake, like his character development in general, um, is amazing. I won't get into spoilers about what kind of person he is, but where he goes compared to where the ex-husband goes compared to where the some of the ex-husband's henchmen goes, and then you get this other character who, I forget exactly what his position is, but he's also working for the ex-husband as well, but he also has ties to Jake, so he becomes his own character, and you don't know where his loyalty is because he's trying to help the husband, but he's also trying to go for Jake, but he's also trying to find the woman, so you don't know like where he's gonna put his alliance kind of thing, and the film gets fun that way, and the characters are good, the acting is good as well, like it's a tense thriller that works really well, and I really enjoyed it. I like these surprise thrillers, and these films that come out of nowhere. So it's a lot of fun, and it's on the high end of thrillers for sure. And the characters are a lot of fun, and if you like the brutality, watch it for the brutality. If you like more of the brutal thrillers that don't shy back or hold away, this is a good one to watch. So that's Hunting Grounds, and it's streaming now, brand new from 2025. So go look for it somewhere, check it out, and subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.